And we are back yet again. Here we go with another matchup breakdown for the Week 13 forecast. Coming to a must-win game for one team. The other team has fallen out of it, but they still have hope. They would need a lot of help, though. But we're looking at Team JMAS at 4-8 against Gangrene at 5-7. This is must-win territory for Gangrene. If they want a shot at the playoffs, they have to win and hope for some help. They're also going to have to score some points this week as well. When it comes to the quarterback situation this week, we have Joe Flacco against Carson Palmer. Flacco against Cleveland. Flacco's been up and down this year. He predicted for 14 points in this game. I think he can have a strong game against that Cleveland team, but their secondary is strong. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot more. But Flacco, 14 points. That seems about right to me. Especially with that, I like the way Joe Hayden and that secondary have been playing against the pass. Cleveland's a tough team on defense, but they always find a way to lose. But I think Ray Rice is going to be the one having the big points this week. But Flacco, he's going to give you double digits. So I think 14, 15, 16 points in that area he's going to give you. Carson Palmer against Miami. I think he's predicted for 14. I like him for more this week. I think I think he's going to open it up. He wants to get a couple more touchdowns after last week. I think he's going to find the end zone a little bit more. Obviously, the yards are going to be there. He's predicted for 14. I like him more along the lines of 18 points this week. So I think he's going to have a strong game against Miami as Oakland continues to make their push for the playoffs. When it comes to the running backs, we have Forte and Mendenhall against Willis McGahee and Cedric Benson. Forte against KC. Love that matchup. I do. He's predicted for 14, Matt Forte, and he's been one of the league's best this year, and he's just really playing strong, and I don't know what else to really say. He's a great back. I love him this week against KC. 14 points. I think it's a good bet. Rashard Mendenhall predicted for 12 against Cincinnati. I think he's gonna have a little bit more of a hard time. He's he had a strong game against the Bengals last time, but I think they're really going to zone it and try to take him out of the game. The Bengals have been strong against the run this year. He's predicted for 12. I wouldn't shock me if he fell a little bit under that 12 points, maybe that 9-point area. Obviously he's always a threat for the end zone, but I think the Bengals are really going to come out hot this game. I like the Bengals in this game. I think they're going to play them a lot tighter than they did last time. So I think Mendenhall could be the one that suffers a little bit more. On the other side, we have McGahee and Benson. Benson against Pitt. He's predicted for 7. Pitt's tough against the run always, but Benson's been having a strong year. He had a couple touches last week. It's going to be interesting to see how he follows that up. But I like Benson this week. I think he's predicted for 7. I like 9 to 10 points. I think he's going to go double digits. They're going to try to pound that rock. They're going to try to control the clock. Like I said, I think this game's probably going to be a lot of grunt and punt as opposed to ground and pound. A lot of grunt and punt. But I think Benson's going to have a solid game because Andy Dalton's going to continue to lean on him, set up that play action and hit AJ Green deep. But I do think Benson can have a decent game this week. As for McGahee, love him. This option, whatever you want to call this Tebow mania, this Tebow offense. McGahee's going to keep getting his touches. I like him against Minnesota's defense. I know Minnesota's tough against the run, but Michael Turner had a pretty decent game against them. Recent running backs have had strong games against them. I believe Michael Bush went for over 100 against them. I like McGahee this week. He's predicted for 9. I like him more along the lines of 11 to 12 points. I think he can have a strong game. So that's why I like McGahee this week. Then when we come to wide receivers, we got Steve Smith and Percy Harvin against Laurent Robinson and Hakeem Nicks. Smith against Tampa. I don't know what's going on in Tampa, but it's not good. That defense is not doing good. Obviously, they're giving up a lot against the run. I think Cam Newton's going to be able to, work with D'Angelo Williams, who's also starting for Gangrene, but I'll get into that in a second. I think he's going to be able to work play action. I think Steve Smith's going to be open for a couple big plays. He's been a little bit quiet lately, but I think he breaks back out onto the scene this week. He's predicted for 10. I think it's a good solid bet for 10 points. I like him a little bit more, but I think 10's a good base. Percy Harvin against Denver. Percy's been having, he had a strong game against Atlanta. I think he's going to, he is the offense right now with AP out. So I think Harvin's going to continue getting looks, and, it's going to be providing more points, obviously, for his fantasy owners, in this case, Team JMAS. He's predicted for 9. I like that call. Lorette Robinson against Arizona. Enough said. I love anyone against Arizona. Lorette Robinson has been a huge red zone target recently for Romo with Miles Austin out. He's predicted for 11. Love him this week. So obviously, love the start there. Actually love the pickup because he's been doing great for Gangrene. Then we got Hakeem Nicks against Green Bay. Don't like Green Bay's secondary. Love Hakeem Nicks. Great wide receiver. Eli's going to be chucking the ball all day, looking for another 400-yard performance. I think Hakeem, he didn't go over in the last week. He went for, I believe, like 85 yards. I think he goes over 100 this week and also finds the end zone this week. So I like him, obviously, for more than 10, but 10's a good base. Then we got Aaron Hernandez against Heath Miller. Heath Miller against Cincinnati. You know, Heath Miller is a nice player. Predicted for 5 points. I think it's a solid bet. Not really a star, but he's a guy who's going to get you yards. He gets you like 30 to 50 yards a week, maybe a touchdown here or there. So, that's where you can expect from Miller. Hernandez against Indy. I like all Pats this week a lot, especially against Indy in that defense. Obviously, it's the Rob Gronkowski show. I know that, but Aaron Hernandez still is a huge target, and he's going to get red zone looks as well. So I love Hernandez against Indy this week. He's predicted for 9. I think he can go a little bit higher than that. Then we come to the flex position. We got C.J. Spiller against D'Angelo Williams. Spiller against Tennessee. I don't know what to expect. I mean, he last week he had 55 yards on 19 carries. Did Spiller. So obviously they want to see what they have him. They drafted him as a top 10 pick. Fred Jackson's out for the year. He's gonna get the looks all year. To finish the season out. So Tennessee's a defense that could get gashed, especially by a playmaker like Spiller. But I do expect Spiller to be a factor in the passing game as well. And I think Fitzpatrick's going to keep trying to push the ball downfield to try to open up. I think they're going to be trying to pass a lot to try to open up the run for Spiller. But he's predicted for 7. I think that's if he went for something like 4 to 7 points, that wouldn't really shock me. If you went a little over, I think you're getting a good value that week if he does go over 7 points. But I think 7 is a good call. As for D'Angelo Williams, another guy love this week. Tampa's defense. I mentioned the stat to Gangrene. And I mentioned this in a previous write-up, that the Tampa Bay defense, going into last week before facing Chris Johnson, they had given up 120 points to running backs in the previous 3 weeks when compared to the 49ers defense, who had given up 109 points to running backs all season. So, they're struggling against the run. D'Angelo had a breakout game last week. I like him to go for double digits again this week. You paid the man. Give the man the rock and let him do his thing. I think he's finally getting some confidence. I think he's going to have a good game and a strong showing for Gangrene against Tampa. Then we got special teams, Robbie Gould and Detroit's defense against Dan Bailey and Denver's defense. Robbie Gould against KC. Robbie Gould's one of the league's best. I like him for almost double digits every week. He's a lock for 8 points usually, especially with Caleb Haney at quarterback now. I think if drives do stall out, they're going to be calling Gould. He's good from 55 and in most of the time. So I like Robbie Gould this week. Detroit's defense, I think they're going to struggle. I don't like them against New Orleans, especially without Ndamukong Suh. They're predicted for 5. I think that's a good bet. The Giants' defense just got embarrassed by them. I think the Detroit's on their way to getting embarrassed too. Then we got Dan Bailey and the Broncos. Dan Bailey against Arizona. Plenty of opportunities. Double digits for him. And for the Broncos, we have them against Minnesota. No AP. Rookie quarterback. They're playing hot. Von Miller's in question. But I still think that the Denver defense is going to continue strong and put forth a double-digit effort. As I continue to run low on time, I'm talking a little bit faster. I have to pick a winner. And then the line this week has Gangrene favored by 7. I like Gangrene this week. I think they get the win they need. If they get into the playoffs, that's still to be determined. They're going to get the win they need, though. So I'm picking them to win it. I love D'Angelo Williams this week. I think he goes for double digits. He's going to be their player of the game. And the reason that they win this. Gangrene gets the win. And if they make, it's to be determined if that makes them playoff bound. We're going to have to let it all play out. But Gangrene gets the win. And I will see you in a few with my next breakdown. Be good.